Now, welcome to another news from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let us get right to the news.
Right to the news. All business.
Isn't it always all business with us?
Alright, so Hayden Christensen binged the Star Wars animated shows in preparation for his role in Obi-Wan Kenobi. He had a conversation with Entertainment Weekly where he said, "I went back and rewatched all the films, and I also got into the animated shows, the Clone Wars and Rebels. It was interesting. They did a lot with these characters in those shows, and they did further explore the relationship. There was interesting stuff there to learn about. It was great fun getting to go back and re-immerse yourself in this world that just continues to grow and become more and more vast." Ian McGregor was asked similarly how he prepared, and his answer was more of the traditional actor type answer. I watched them from start to finish, all 9 movies, just to get back in that world. It was interesting to watch our films because I hadn't seen them since they came out, not at all. So it was cool to see and interesting to watch them and enjoy them without all the noise that was around them when they came out. What do you think about what the two different actors had to say?
It's always interesting when they don't actually watch their movies. Like, oh yeah, I've seen my movie once way back in the day and never... I mean, if I were in a movie, I wouldn't want to watch it either, to be honest with you. It would be so weird. It's strange enough knowing I make videos and, I have to hear my own voice all the time. But I am partly disappointed they never watched Clone Wars in the first place. I mean, and it seems like Ewan has still not watched Clone Wars.
Well, I you always understand Hayden had a rough experience with Star Wars.
Well, sure, but I mean, you always have this illusion or delusion, maybe, that the actors get into the characters just as much as you, that they care just as much as you. And I'm not saying they don't.
But for some of them, it's just a job. Like
exactly.
Going to work is for most of us.
Exactly. But I mean, you do hope that maybe they would have, maybe Hayden would have watched Clone Wars and gotten into it. I think it's cool that he went back and watched it and that he seemed to enjoy it. At least he says he enjoyed it. Of course, he's going to say he enjoyed it. He's not going to say it was terrible.
Well, he didn't have to say he watched it at all. If he didn't enjoy it, why would he even say
it? True. But I mean, he is right. I mean, it is one of the beautiful things of Clone Wars is it does explore Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship far more than the movies do. I've said before, one of my biggest gripes with the films is you go from episode 2 where there's this animosity between them to episode 3 where, hey, we're just brothers now.
Yeah, it definitely gives you the feel of why he calls him a brother.
Yeah.
When you see all of the adventures they went through, that you kind of even get the inkling that Obi-Wan was in on the secret with Padme way before.
Yeah, I think and Clone Wars kind of confirms it, but you had to know, right? How do you not know that there's a little something going on there? I mean, maybe he doesn't know just how
far it has gone
until he realizes Padme is pregnant. That's got to be quite a hint there, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot further than maybe they anticipated, which is a strange thing because you think they would have realized it earlier. I mean, is Anakin really fooling anybody? Do you think Yoda and Mace and everybody else has no idea this is going on?
Yes, I think he's that sneaky. Or the galaxy's at war. They have bigger fish to worry about than go, is he spending a little too much time with that senator?
Well, sure, but the problem is Anakin is the chosen one. I mean, they have all this... Well, not all of them have faith in him to, destroy the Sith.
But they don't all believe as Qui-Gon did.
Well, no. But I'm saying is, if you even have an inkling he could actually be the chosen one, that he is going to go on to destroy the Sith, you'd have to worry that, well, this guy has... he's going against our Jedi ways. He has a wife. He has kids on the way. This is something we have to be careful with.
That's why they didn't notice. They were very busy. They were spread out through the galaxy fighting battles.
I mean, I think that's part of the interesting thing with Kenobi is he knew. I mean, Clone Wars confirms again that he basically knew. He may not have known the extent, but, with the series, we could really... That's the thing. Like, he's going to be looking back and like, God, maybe I shouldn't have ignored that. Maybe I shouldn't have let Anakin get away. What if I had talked to him about it? What if I said, I know what you're going through. I went through the same thing with Satine, and... he's got to have all kinds of just regrets and what-ifs playing in his head, which is, what I hope this series really explores. I know we're going to be seeing Inquisitors and we're going to be gallivanting around the galaxy, but that's not, again, I've said it a million times before, that's not what I really want to see out of the series. I mean, I'm not necessarily against it, but I really want that introspect. I want to know what is going on in Kenobi's head. I don't want this just to be him running around the galaxy doing hero stuff and going back to Tatooine like nothing ever happened.
Right, it's going to be a delicate balancing act between honestly showing all that introspect but keeping it interesting and not just being episodes of exposition.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's the hard part of doing introspect, because you have to be able to feel the emotions, not just have Kenobi looking in the camera and telling him, "I'm feeling very depressed
No,
right
I can
now."
see them doing a montage where you like look at him meditating, and then you kind of see a dark space, maybe him floundering around inside of it, being him trying to communicate. Or
there are certainly, there are
there's
absolutely ways
to
to do it.
definitely portray it in an interesting fashion, but at the same time, how often can you use that and fans not go, "Oh, this again"?
Yeah. I mean, there's flashbacks too. That's another key way to do it.
Flashbacks can go awry, as we've seen.
Well, sure. I mean, anything can go awry, as that's just how it is. But well done flashbacks, especially to Satine. I would love to see. I would go all in on this series, and I'm afraid they won't. I mean, all in on just the story of Kenobi, his life, and how everything that happened during the Clone Wars, before the Clone Wars, has led to this moment of his crisis of faith and how he gets over it.
You got to save something for season 2, right?
Oh, definitely. But no, go back. Cast a younger actor to play, a young Kenobi, and have a brief scene with Satine, so you can see the connection that he would have understood what Anakin was going through.
I know in the upcoming Obi-Wan comic book that we talked about that comes out next month, they did mention that they're going to go back to some key moments of his life, so I can't imagine they're not going to go back and see his key moments with Satine. That's
huge. It's a huge part. I mean, for those who never watched Clone Wars, you might, well, what are we even talking about with Satine? And, but it became a huge part of his story, too. That the Satine part is a huge thing, and it's something that could easily relate back to Anakin, and it's something I would love to see them do in the series, which kind of makes me sad that Ewan didn't watch Clone Wars to know this other aspect of his character.
Well, just because he didn't watch it or rewatch it, because, if they asked him how he prepared for the upcoming, he said he rewatched those films. Maybe he's already seen the Clone Wars and didn't feel he needed to rewatch them.
Well, if he hasn't watched the prequels since back in the day, I'm not
do the acting for Clone Wars, so it might be a little easier for him to go back and go and watch.
Maybe he did. I kind of tend to doubt he did. It doesn't sound like he did. I've never really got the impression he's a huge Star Wars fan. If he was, I think when he came back on stage to announce the Kenobi series, he probably would have said hello there. But
he would give it a script. Who knows?
Well, I think he could have improvised to that. I think the crowd would have just absolutely lost their mind if he would have just said those, two simple words. But again,
it'll be the first things he says in Kenobi.
They might be. But, again, the actors, they don't have to be. I'm not saying they have to be, and you could be disappointed or upset even that they're not, I guess. But it's one of those things I really wish he would go back and watch Clone, just to understand and really bring all he could to the character in this series, which I'm not saying he's not going to, but I think it would have been cool if he would have watched it and if they would explore that part of him a little bit more.
All right, let's move on to our next story today. New Star Wars action-adventure game coming from Amy Hennig, creator of Uncharted. So Lucasfilm Games and Skydance Games New Media have announced a new game in development, and interestingly, Amy Hennig is helming the project. Amy was attached to Project Ragtag, which she was on that project from 2013 until it was announced as canceled. So here's what she said about working on this new project. I've often described how seeing Star Wars in 1977 essentially rewired my 12-year-old brain, shaping my creative life and future indelibly. I'm elated to be working with Lucasfilm Games again to tell interactive stories in this galaxy that I love. Douglas Riley, the VP of Lucasfilm Games, said he's excited to be working with Amy and Skydance again. Their vision for making narrative-driven and engaging interactive entertainment makes this collaboration very exciting. In late 2021, Skydance announced it had a partnership with Marvel Entertainment to craft an all-new game with an original story and a unique take for beloved Marvel characters. This new Star Wars game is rumored to be a revival of the early game pitched for Project Ragtag. The new project name is, supposedly, Project Waldron, according to some leakers anyway. The original game and everything was set from the Galactic Civil War time, and that Ragtag was going to be a third-person shooter set between episodes 4 and 5. You would have played as a smuggler with a motley crew of criminals. The destruction of the Death Star caused the Empire to crack down on planetary regulations, pressuring low-ranking criminals in the underworld. The crew joins the Rebel Alliance when a kidnapping ransom plot unveils a larger conspiracy by the Emperor to turn the resources found within the remains of Alderaan into a new superweapon. Star Wars games are coming in force.
What are we doing with the remains of Alderaan now?
Turning him into a superweapon. You missed my pun, though.
No, I didn't miss it. I just ignored it.
Star Wars games are coming in force. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I got it. And it is nice that they're coming in force after the decade of EA, the dark times, where EA every couple of years
Hey,
had a game.
don't talk about EA. They can hear you.
I know, they probably can.
Besides, the list of upcoming Star Wars games includes an open world title from Ubisoft Massive, 3 different games from EA's Respawn Entertainment, one, of course, being the follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order
2,
that
yeah.
could be revealed really soon,
Probably Celebration.
Star Wars Eclipse from Quantic Dream, and Asper's KOTOR remake.
Yes. So lots. I mean, like I said, I'm glad we finally, everybody talks about the glory days where you'd get like 2 Star Wars games a year, and usually at least one of them would be really good, if not, great, and the other one would be decent too. So I'm really hoping we get back to that, at least 1 good one a year, maybe even 2 to be greedy.
It's okay, I still have Lego Star Wars to tide me over for a while.
True, that's plenty still to do with that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, super weapon with the ruins of Alderaan?
What the original game was going to be. I mean,
Okay.
EA still, I think, owns some of the rights for those ideas.
Can we not make super weapons, please?
I like super weapons, they're super.
Well, yeah, and they're weapons.
Can we just make a giant lightsaber that we can steer
Oh,
to
boy.
slice through planets?
That's what they should have done with the giant Kyber that they powered the Death Star. Just make a huge lightsaber.
Giant lightsaber.
Why not at this point? So what? All right, I'm going to let the ruins of Alderaan go, but I am curious what you do with basically an asteroid field and make it a weapon.
They found something inside of it. Some of the resources that were inside of deep within Alderaan.
I'm just glad they're not going to put like hyperdrives on them and just turn them all into like the chunks of rocket holo maneuver weapons.
No, we're done with that.
Okay, that's what I would do, but
I'm interested if this new project you'll still be playing as smugglers instead of Jedi, because it's interesting to play as different types of characters.
yeah, as much as I enjoy playing as a Jedi, it's sometimes nice to not play as a Jedi in Star Wars or as a Sith, or you can
flex a little and not be a Force user.
Yeah.
Just be a regular underworld kind of
like
guy
a bounty
with
hunter
a group
slash
of
mercenary. Yeah,
with a crew of other not Force
Jedi.
using people.
No, someone on the crew will be Force sensitive. You can't make anything Star Wars without somebody being a little Force
It's
sensitive.
not out they originally didn't even start out as part of the Rebel Alliance and only really joined them because of some sort of weird kidnapping plot.
Yeah, but there will be a Force use. There's always I mean, even the Mandalorian, it was kind of sold as, we're, it's going to be something different. Nah, first episode, we got a Yoda in there. There's your Force user. You can't not have a Force user. But no, I mean, I'm excited for this game. Amy Hennig is,
Uncharted, they're good games.
yeah, she's done a lot of good. So fingers crossed with this one, and fingers crossed with everything else. And yeah, well, I guess that's all we've got for you this time. Now your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about Hayden watching Clone Wars and you and not watching Clone Wars. Does it bother you? Does it not matter to you? Whatever the case may be, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.